I grew up in my childhood seeing my mother and father striving so much. My mother became an orphan at age 1 because her father passed away when cancer struck, and her mother raised her with pride as such because my grandmother raised 7 children with her sweat and blood and taught them to bow to no one, for their dignity must not corrupt, and she raised a daughter like my mother who the world did not get a chance to rust, and she ended up marrying like a man like my father, who was known for his nobleness and trust. And my father was the only son between 4 sisters, and he was noble, deeply connected with holy works and scriptures, but the responsibilities from home sent him to work early, so he knew that life had its blisters and this world was full of tricksters, and he knew that marriage is not a perfect picture and always needs to have fixtures, but see, this is the depiction of their security, that they knew that even when life will give them twisters, they will always have someone to hold on to, someone to hug, and together they saw a vision of forming a family and making a house that was built by love. And they had a vision and vowed to each other to give their kids the best education. And that's why, as kids, we grew up in the greatest schools of the nation, talking in English, growing up with rich kids, snobby noses, and all that sophistication, while Mama and Daddy were working on budgets to cut off all extravagations in order to have complete simplification, like how we would barely eat meat, and how Mama had to borrow clothes from her sisters for Eid, and hand-me-downs would come from my older cousin to my older brother, and then me, but Daddy would always be there every night to tuck us in and put us to sleep. And near exam time, Daddy would teach us, and together we'll be stressed and worried. And when Daddy would come home from work, we would run to the door with smiles on our faces, and we would greet and meet. And Mama would know everything that's going on in our lives, like who do we play with and how are our studies. And she would know what we were up to when she falls off to sleep. And to catch us from lying, she'll be like, stick out your tongue. Oh, it's black, you lying cheat. And man, I miss going to those family trips monthly. We were not that rich, but those memories are forever in my head instilled up. And going to a school of rich kids, I never thought I was different. If anything, I was above because we were happy. And I was raised in a house that was built by love. And then in the adventure of educating their kids, it took them to the other corner of the globe in the midst of the mist to Canada, and converting 60 rupees for $1 was soon finished, and Daddy had to search for months, ready to work for any job that exists, and he would go searching for a job for miles on feet because he didn't want to waste any bus tickets. And he went from job to job, from labor jobs to security, to delivering papers like a kid. First winter he spent in snow, and now he has to walk for miles and miles in it. And coming home to a wife who just seems to miss back home so much that she is willing to throw away all this that is invested in this to go back home into her selfish bliss. And kids who just don't understand the sacrifice that has been made for them in snow and ice, in leaving them behind all that there was in this plight, just so these kids can have a better life. But years pass like they always do, and clouds of history are gone, and summers pass and winters fade, and now they have learned to call this new country home. The house is always stocked with fresh fruits, and the fridge is always filled. The kids are chasing their own dreams, but there's still much time left still. The oldest son is studying in the best business university that Canada has built, and the second one is studying in South Africa, chasing his dreams, and the third one can fix any computer that you have ever seen, and the youngest is still growing, but has joined every school team, and life will go by, for we still have growing to do till the day that we are sent above. But I know that we will always be together, for we are raised in a house that is built by love. Because marriage is not about the marriage bed or Beauty and the Beast, for marriage comes with responsibilities, pains, and yes, also many treats. So I pray for you who listens to this, that whoever you end up with, may you have a happy life of fun, barakah, and bliss. But most importantly, there's a vow that you must make to me, is this, that no matter what happens in your marriage, to the day that you are taken above, that you will give your life in service in building a house that is built by love.